Hey guys, and welcome back to the MD Investor channel. MD Investor for another video about personal finance where we talk about breaking the cycle of generational poverty, setting goals, achieving goals, and living the life we were meant to live. So thank you for all the support, guys. Definitely we ask you to subscribe on YouTube at MD Investor. Give a thumbs up, give a like. On Instagram at MD Investor 1. If there's anyone that you think could benefit from this personal finance information, this actionable material, not just to hear and learn and enjoy, but to take action and make changes, definitely forward the link to them. So a new video today, guys. Today, a new video. The topic is, do not open a savings account for your child. Do not open a savings account for your child. You might say, are you out of your mind? Everything we've read and heard and studied and heard is that, go ahead, teach your child how to save. Go ahead, take them down to the bank and open a savings account. But I'm going to be a contrarian today. Do not open a savings account for your child. Why is that? Simple. There's just not enough return on investment. There's not enough yield. There's not enough interest. It's just not worth it. I was reading something today and it said the average savings account has a measly 0.06% APY, which stands for annual percentage yield, which is basically interest. 0.06% interest rate. That's nothing. Think about the interest rate the credit card make on you. Take whatever card you have, go online, check it out. They're getting 15, 18, 25, sometimes 30% interest rate they're getting you. And the bank in return is giving you 0.06% interest. And some of these big banks, the big banks, you know the name, Bank of America, Chase, Citibank, some of them are giving a 0.01% interest rate. Your money ain't making no money. And if you consider the fact that the inflation rate is way above that. The inflation rate, it says, was about 1.6% in June of 2019. The interest rate, the inflation rate is 1.6%. And the inflation rate is basically the buying power of your money. So $100 today won't be able to buy the same amount of goods and services in years to come. We know that, right? $100 years ago can't buy what it used to buy. It's the same $100, but because of inflation rate, the buying power is less. So if your money is losing 1.6% value every year, and you're only making 0.01% or 0.06%, your money is losing more value than it's gaining. So to make an example, you have $100 now, and the interest rate is 1.6%. Next year, it's going to lose 1.6% of its value. It'll only be able to buy $98.40 of goods, essentially. So you're not even keeping up with inflation if you put your money in a savings account. Okay? You're not even keeping up with inflation. That's why I say do not open a savings account for your child. Let's talk about this for 1 second. We haven't talked about, there's something called the rule of 72. The rule of 72 is basically a quick and dirty rule for you to estimate how long will it take for you to double your money. Say, for example, you are getting a 10% return on your money. You'll take 72 divided by 10, and that'll equal 7.2. So it'll take you about 7.2 years for you to double your money. So if you're getting 10% rate of return, you take 72 divided by 10, you get 7.2 years for you to double your money. So if you invest $100 and you're getting a 10% return on investment, it'll take you 7.2 years for that $100 to double to $200. Likewise, if you invested $100,000 at that rate, you would double your money in about 7.2 years. So in 7.2 years, you go from $100,000 to $200,000. In that vein, at 0.06% APY or 0.06% interest rate, you take 72 divided by 0.06% and you'll get 1,200. It'll take you 1,200 years for your child money to double if you put it in a savings account, giving them 0.06%. You see how ridiculous this is? You'll be dead, your bones will be ashes before that money ever double. And with the big banks, 0.01%, 72 divided by 0.01, and you get 7,200. 7,200 years for your child money to double. Now you see why I say do not open a savings account for your child. And what are they doing with the money that they have in the bank that they're paying you no interest on? They're giving it out on loans, and they're getting a much higher interest rate. You see that? That same money that they're giving you no interest on, they're loaning it out to people for mortgage or whatever you may have, and they're getting a much higher return. So they're using your money to make money, and they're not ever paying you for it. Don't open a savings account for your child, okay? So if I'm not opening a savings account, what should I do? Good question. Glad you asked. What you can do is open a custodial brokerage account instead. What's that? Open a custodial brokerage account. A brokerage account is basically an account where you'll be able to buy stocks, buy bonds, all type ETFs, all type of investments. As an adult, over 18 and so on, you can open it in your name, and you can use any of the major brokerage houses. All the names: Fidelity, Charles Schwab, E-Trade, Vanguard, all these people, and you can connect it to your account, link it to your account, and you can start buying shares of companies. But what about your children who are under 18 years old? They can't do it because they're too young. But there's something called a custodial brokerage account. So you can open the account, right? You'll be the custodian, okay? It'll be in the child's name, but you'll be the custodian, so you'll be in charge until they become of age, and you can still buy shares of company, getting a much better return than the measly 0.01 or 0.06% that these banks are giving you, okay? And now to compare the interest rate or the interest rate that I talked about earlier with the banks, let's look at the S&P 500. The S&P 500 over the last 90 years have returned an annualized average return of 9.8%. Pretty much almost 10% return compared to the measly 0.01 to 0.06%. No comparison. By the rule of 72, you take 72 divided by 9.8, and you get about 7.3 years. So with the other very low interest rate that the banks are giving you in a savings account, it'll take you with it anywhere from 1,200 years if they're giving you 0.06% to 7,200 years if they're giving you 0.01% for your money to double. Versus if you had your child invest in a S&P 500 index fund, a custodial account, getting almost 10% return, their money would double every 7.3 years. Big difference. Big difference. Okay? At any of these major houses, you can go online. Go to Vanguard, you can go to Fidelity, you can go to Charles Schwab, and just look at it. Custodial brokerage account. Okay? Your child will do a lot better. And because when you look at investments and you compare, we know that time is the major factor. The earlier you start investing, the more your money has to grow and to grow and to grow. And then the interest gets interest and so on and so forth. That's even a more powerful variable than actually the amount you invest. It's basically how long your money has been invested. And who has more time than kids? Can you imagine that? Your child at birth, when your child is born and you got the Social Security number from the government, and you open an account, the child is barely born, and you go online and you open an account, a custodial account, and you start funding that, right? And imagine you're getting 10%, and that money is doubling every 7 years, right? Given almost a 10% return. How much better is that than putting in a savings account where they might charge you some fees because you may be below a certain minimum, and they're using your money to loan it out to people, getting a high interest rate, but they're giving you nothing. Do not open a savings account for your child. Open a custodial brokerage account. Continue to subscribe. Continue to share this video on people who you think may benefit from personal finance information, actionable information guide, not just to listen and to learn and to enjoy, but also to take action and make a change. This is MD Investor guide, MD Investor on Instagram, MD Investor 1. Thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next video.